Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
Rollerdrome is an action video game that has been developed by Roll Y and has been published by Private Division. In this game you control Kara Hassan, a participant in a daily sport called Rollerdrome, in which they must perform roller skating tricks while fighting against enemies known as house players. Using various firearms and creative tricks, Kara's main focus is becoming the very best, but it won't be an easy task. This game is good. In fact, it is very addicting. When I first came across this game, I was lucky. I was on Instagram and I was looking through some news feeds that was dedicated to certain things that I was talking about, which was video games and anime. If for some strange reason Rollerdrome was an advertisement that was on Instagram, and it pulled me in a lot, and it pulled me into the point where I was glad that I came across this. This is a gem in my opinion. I was so hooked on playing this game to the point where I was spending countless of hours playing this so much to the point where I forgot that I was a critic in a way. This game is more than addicting. This game needs to be brung up to other critics too that is trying to come up to the YouTube genre and just bring this game out to the sheds of it being underground, under the rocks. I love this game so much to the point where I have to be quick with this. But why do you care though, right? This game is good. In fact, it's so good. Play it, okay? The game is great. The game is addicting. That's all you want to know, right? All right then. Play it and you guys will enjoy it. All right? Now, if you excuse me, I need to play it later. You still here? Really? Look, I have been a critic for a while. Practically for a long while now. And people have been telling me I've been a little too harsh on my reviews, especially on things that everybody prays to the high heavens. Look, man, I just point out things that people don't like to point out because they get blinded by the glamour of just how things are in front of them instead of things that's around them. I'm not saying that Rollerdrome is a terrible game. I'm not saying that Rollerdrome is a game that has a lot of problems. All I'm gonna say is this: this game is great. This game is satisfyingly good, and I will say this again: when you play it, you will have a hard time putting your controller down because it is very, very freaking addicting. This game does have some light problems, but some of these problems have to overlook. But at the same time, it has to be mentioned. So for those who are a little sensitive to my ratings and my criticisms, I have to take a couple steps back because it is going to hurt me too, because I love Rollerdrome so much to the point where I wanted to try to avoid this review, because to me, avoiding this review, I have to avoid my opinion. So again, this game is good. Play it. You guys will enjoy it. Where can we start? Well, let's start from the beginning of the game. The game pulls you in from start to finish. In fact, it immerses you, in my opinion, a little bit too quickly. As you get pulled in by the game, it pulls you in with the immersion of it showing you the concepts of you being a roller skater and you just using your wits and your survival tactics to get through these obstacles alive. But they don't really give you enough for you to know much about your character, Kara. Now, all you know is that the fact that she is trying to be the best Rollerdrome expert. She's trying to make a name for herself. But you don't know nothing about her history. You don't know nothing about how she got originated. You don't know nothing about how she became a Rollerdrome professional in the first place, other than you trying to make sure that she ends up being the top player. You only know what the game shows you from what's ahead of us and what's in front of us, I guess. But at the same time, the game does pull you in and satisfies you when it comes to you being in brink with the combat scenarios of you knowing your character when it comes to her being in the brink of survival. The game pulls you in a lot. In fact, so much so that you don't want to be distracted. There's so many things on this game that can pull you in more than just you pulling tricks or you just going around enemies. But at the same time, you want to pull out these crazy ass stunts and just trying to make it over the top. Now, everybody, in fact, game developers themselves have replicated this game like Tony Hawk. But this game is actually better than Tony Hawk in a way. When it comes to Tony Hawk and Rollerdrome, this game is different in its own way when it comes to more than just strategic ways of how you do tricks. Tony Hawk is known for tricks, but this game is known for the class and for the creativity of you surviving as you pulling off these tricks. You need to pull off these tricks and you need to find a way to get over these obstacles, because I tell you, each time you do a freaking mission, it gets harder and harder and freaking harder. The enemies begin to maneuver, the enemies begin to have different weapons, the enemies begin to have different types of move sets, the enemies begin to have different types of spawn points, these enemies begin to have armor, these enemies begin to have grenades, rocket launchers, and all this stuff. And you need to get around them so you can survive. Now, people may say, well, can I just dodge these enemies and I could just do tricks? No. Rollerdrome is not like that. Okay? Rollerdrome, the way how this game works is the fact that you need to pull off these stunts and you need to kill each of these enemies in order for you to make it to the next level. The game does focuses on a time span on each level, but it doesn't decreases. It increases each time you do a level. So the longer you take on these levels, the most likely your score is going to go down. Only time if the level will end is if you kill all the enemies. But that does not mean that you're going to have infinite ammo. You will run out of ammo pretty quickly. You do get different weapons, but they run out of ammo pretty quickly. So the only way for you to regain ammo is if you can do tricks and do varieties of creative stunts, and make sure you do it in perfect precision so you can get as much ammo as you can as you progress through the game. They have done well when it comes to progression and showing different ways how you can maneuver these different types of obstacles on these levels. And if that's not stressful enough, these enemies are no spring chicken. These enemies will run up to you. These enemies will keep you on your toes. And I'm not saying these enemies will take turns of trying to hit you individually. These enemies will freaking gang up on you. These enemies will attack you all at once. There were times where I was doing stunts and I was dodging enemy gunfire, dodging bullets, dodging grenades, dodging them trying to hit me with weapons, and at the same time making sure that I did stunts at the same time, trying to shoot my way out and stuff. I felt like a John Wick female with rollerblades trying to be sexy as hell. This game is so freaking crazy, and it was so freaking addicting. Now, you do have a tutorial on here, but I kind of think that the tutorial on here is a little bit lackluster in my opinion, and I'm not saying by the way of it exposing how you can control the game's character or just maneuvering through the whole levels. But I mean by the execution of the tutorial. There were times where I unlocked certain levels or just unlocked certain modes in the game, and the tutorial was just thrown at me, and I feel like the tutorial should have been from the jump, from the start of the game, for me to know every single way of how I maneuver the character and maneuver each weapon of the game, instead of you just showing me how these things worked each time I unlocked them. But at the same time, that's just my opinion. But I just feel like if you're going to show me the tutorial, give me a full tutorial mode of how to do it, or show me the tutorial as I'm progressing through the main game. Don't take me to the tutorial while I'm busy progressing through the game. That really pissed me off, especially when I was already at the adrenaline rush of me being addicted to the gameplay in the first place. Now, I'm saying the game is intense. I'm saying the game is fun and addicting. It can easily be so, especially when you get pulled in by you just going back to each level and collecting every single combo token. knowing various obstacles, trying to get the biggest score you can so you can match the leaderboard. But the game can be easily repetitive once you begin to know how everything works and how everything plays off. That's the major weakness of the game. By you knowing each of the enemy's weaknesses, their spawn points, how to attack them, when to attack them, and just knowing how to pull off these stunts, the game can be very repetitive after a while. In fact, boring in a way when you play too much of it. And I'm not saying because I spent so many hours playing it. I've looked up reviewers and I looked up certain critics that talked about this game, and they actually said the same thing. I don't know, it's because we've all shared the same concept of us playing this game so much to the point where we actually end up mastering the concept of this game. But I feel like this game should have been more focused on more things when it comes to us knowing the characterization, or at the same time getting us pulled in with certain varieties of obstacles. I know this game has online mode, but how about we have other modes too, just so we can kill that boredom. Because by me playing this game and trying out different types of sets of this game, I instantly got easily unentertained. Now let's talk about the graphics. I noticed some people actually had a problem with the graphics, saying they look too cartoony, and it's like a cel-shaded style of a cheap imitation of certain roller skating games and sports games that we play today when it comes to skateboarding. But I didn't really have no problem with it. I thought the graphics was okay. In fact, more than okay. I thought it matched the game pretty well. In fact, I don't even know why people are complaining about the graphics, because the graphics is not what made me get pulled by the game. It was the gameplay and mechanics itself. Speaking of graphics, people like to compare this ratio to Tony Hawk so much when it comes to every aspect, but when it comes to, from a very, very, very hardcore gamer standpoint like me, I feel like this game gave me more feels than just Tony Hawk. This game pulled me in from certain other games that replicated this, such as Twisted Metal, Killer 7, and one of my nominous and most favorite games from the PS3 standpoint, Wet. At the end of the day, this game is great. This game is fantastic in a way. I love this game to the point where I feel as if this game, even though after I'm done reviewing it, because most of the times when I'm done reviewing something, I leave it alone and I go to the next game or anything else that I'm trying to review. But I'm going to keep playing Rollerdrome. This game is so freaking addicting. And even till now, I keep coming back to it just so I can master every single thing, master every single level, get every single mission done, and just complete it in the most full-blown capacity as possible. And this game is not even expensive. This game is like around 20 or 30 bucks. And from what the issues that I talked about on this game, I have to excuse most of them and overlook them, because by it being that cheap, I'm gonna have to give this game credit to what credit is due. I'm gonna have to give Rollerdrome a hey. Can I go now, please? Can I go now? You guys don't want to wait for the bell, do you? Come on. Why you gotta do this to me? Come on now. Well, look. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming game reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and I hope you guys have a good day.